Welcome to the Diva Details. Welcome to the Diva Details, where bold, confident women embrace life unapologetically. From love and sex to wellness and reinvention, we keep it raw, real, and powerful. No filters, no limits. Just fearless conversations to help you thrive. Let's dive in with Diva Mia and Diva Cat.
Welcome to the Diva Details. I'm Diva Mia.
I'm Diva Cat.
Buckle in and enjoy the ride. So, Kat, what do you think about men's penis sizes? Let's just jump right in.
Penis size is really important.
Really important, yeah.
Really important. Especially as a woman in this day and age, it has to be, it's just like a shoe size.
So, Kat, how old are you?
60.
You're 60. So I'm 52, gonna be 52.
Mm-hmm.
And recently divorced, and you're married still,
I'm
yeah?
married, yes.
But dick size matters.
Yes, definitely is.
You know, it's funny because I used to think that dick size didn't matter so much. I was married for a long time with the same guy for 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a little bit above normal, or maybe a little bit above average. We probably shouldn't go too far into that detail. And I was like, okay, it can't matter. But then after I got divorced, I had someone that was smaller. Wow, it really does matter.
It definitely does. I mean, I've been with my husband for 25 years. And prior to that, you know, you just have to try it on, just as shoe size. It has to be comfortable. It doesn't have to be like, it's certain type of shoes, right? You wear platform, you have to wear a little bit bigger, so you have to go a size up.
Mm-hmm.
If you wear flat, it has to be true to size.
Yeah.
If you wear heels, you need a cushion.
Yeah.
So all that come down to the dick size.
Wonderful.
It has to be
And why is that, do you think?
because it has to be comfortable
Okay.
for both parties.
So both
not
parties.
just you.
So I also dated a guy who was huge, and we didn't have sex, and he was huge, and it was so big that it scared the hell out of me. And so that matters too. People think, oh, it's just the bigger is better. It's not.
It's not. No, you got to think about your health. You got to think that thing going to choke you. You might be dead.
No.
And you got to think about, I love shoes, so we have to always come down to shoes.
Oh,
right?
okay.
If your shoes is too big, give you a calluses.
Yeah.
That cannot be comfortable.
Yeah.
If your shoe too small, it's also going to give you calluses. And then if your shoes too loose, you're going to leave your shoes behind. Same goes with the inside. I'm telling you, I mean, I've also came from like different cultures, but
Tell us a little bit more about your background.
so I'm like have Laos, have a lot of things, but I grew up in the Asian community that very judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is always behind closed door. They don't talk openly. I grew up that way.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like cracked on the other side of the fence. You know, you don't allow to date. You got to be married or engaged to move out. Those kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the reality is, we all have needs.
Yeah.
That's been happened when they started to lie.
Yeah.
I lied to my parents to get out.
Oh my goodness. It's hard to talk to other women, I think, sometimes. It's like a faux pas. People don't want to talk about this stuff.
Some people feel offended. So we really, like, if you're going to bring up this conversation,
Yeah.
it's a conversation between close friends,
Yeah.
like us two divas,
Yeah.
you know? And if you know, in the long run, if people start to listening to us, if you guys want welcome and enjoy, talked about it,
Yeah.
come on right in. We don't have to like identify your identity, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it would be good to talk about.
Yeah.
It's just you talk about everything.
Yeah.
And sex.
I think it's easier to talk at our age too. I think when
That's
we were
another thing.
younger, when we were younger, it was more about, I don't know, girls did talk about it a little bit, but it was different. Now as Gen Xers, we're like, we talk about it, but we talk about it on a meaningful reason. Like for me, if they're too small, when you get really excited, you don't really feel much. It's important to make sure that the dick size works for you, because if you're not going to feel it, what's the point? And then when they're too big, it's kind of scary too. It's like I kind of want somebody right in the middle, or maybe a little bit above average again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's super important. What about you?
You have to find the one that right fit for you.
The right fit?
The right
Just like the
fit,
shoe
just like
size.
the shoe size.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can talk more about, but because I've been with my husband for the past 25 years, you know, but I heard a lot about all my single woman friends,
Yeah.
you know, that we talked about it. And some people just don't. They never get there because it's not the right size.
Yeah.
And some people got scared because it's not the right size.
Yeah.
And it's very important for you to be able to feel your needs.
Yeah. And know your needs
And
too.
know your needs. Growing up, I have to tell you the truth. Growing up, we're not allowed to talk about any of that. We don't even allowed to see it.
Yeah.
And in Asian community, it's very, very hard.
Yeah.
They look at you, they're judging you.
Yeah.
You know, that's why a lot of kids at my age, we lie, you know, to go out, to do stuff. And then the parents still think like we are picture perfect. That's very important. That's why a lot of women, do you know, up till today, because of that, like people in my generation, they stay married just because to keep picture perfect, regardless that they are not happy.
And you know, people say it's not the size of the ship, it's the motion of the ocean. I guarantee you a man came up with that saying, because it's both. And it's you got to have both. And at our age, I mean, honestly, I'm thinking of dating younger, because I don't know. Some of the guys out there, you just don't know. But I
think whoever to fit your energy.
Fit energy as well as, yeah.
Yeah, you have to find a compatible fit energy regardless what age.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say how, you know.
Yeah.
Like for me, my energy.
Yeah.
I do not fit with older men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're married younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband is 7 years younger, and we work out perfectly fine. And there's men out there prefer older women. You believe?
Well, that's going to be a whole nother conversation.
Right. We'll leave it for the next session.
We'll leave that for the next session. So,
and this time, let's talk just about sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about sizes to be accurate. So I was reading, and the average, just for the ladies out there, so you know, is between 4.1 and 4.3 inches. That's the average. And I'm like, that is small. Now, let me double check those numbers.
Talk about low maintenance.
Talk about what?
Low maintenance. Like no expectation at all for that age.
I know.
For that size, no?
Well, and here's the thing, ladies. The dick size shrinks as they get older, because as their testosterone decreases, their penis is going to get smaller. So realize that what you got is going to get smaller as you age. It's kind of important to start with something a little bigger. So, okay, I'm sorry. It was 5.1 and 5.5.
Okay, that's better.
But that's erect. Okay, so erect penises average is 5.1 to 5.5. Okay. Yeah. If you got a 6-incher or above, you're pretty normal.
Okay.
And remember, ladies, I mean, at 3 inches, I've seen them. 3 to 4 inches, you're not gonna have much fun with that. Well, you might. It depends on the woman. For 3 to 4 inches, they're out there. And I did talk to a nurse once, and she said as they get older, they just get smaller and smaller. Yeah. And the penis eventually, when it's soft, doesn't even extend much past the scrotum. So it's like, oh, from an average perspective, you need to realize that we're looking at, 5.1 to 5.5 is average. So if you're going to find a man that's below. Now, there are things men can do. There's different shots and injections they can do nowadays to actually extend their penis, make it bigger.
Same goes with women, too. At our age, our T is very low. A man should know how to take care of themselves, too.
Yeah.
To fulfill their woman.
And a man should look into testosterone potential replacement therapy, because that does help their penis size. So from a penis size perspective, we're looking at 5.1 to 5.5 inches.
Yeah.
And that's average. And certain genders or certain races may have smaller.
It is. Yeah.
than others. So you have to remember that. And I'm kind of thinking maybe the women match. I just don't know. But, there's Indian people
Yeah.
have been, not American, but Indian from India,
India. Yeah.
have been known to have smaller than average. And they do studies like this, ladies, for condom companies. So the condom companies, they come up with plans and they look into the penis size and they say, okay, this is a certain size and we need to market more and more. And there's a whole study out there on Indian penises. So if you like a special type of guy, like if you like an African American, if you like an Indian guy, they actually do studies. So you can actually go out there and look and see what the penis sizes are based off of a race.
Not only that, and you know how you go, I'm a gym brat. So when you go to the gym, you see all these guys with the flexing all muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Does not always define their size.
There's not, but a lot of times they are pretty good.
Yeah.
Because it depends. If the steroids sometimes can shrink it, or shrink their sacs, but the testosterone, if they're on testosterone, a lot of times it'll increase it too. So I kind of like the build-out boys.
Yeah. You do.
Yeah, the ones that are in shape. Here's the other thing. So let's say you're married to or you're dating a man that's hefty, meaning he's got a big old belly.
No.
And
you gotta be prepared to do all the work yourself.
Well,
I'm
that's a whole other issue.
I'm serious about that. You had to be prepared to do all the work yourself.
Here's the thing. When they're chubby like that, we'll just call them chubby. We'll be nice.
We'll be nice.
We'll be nice. When they're chubby or a little on the heavy, overweight, obese side, they lose a couple inches, ladies, because what happens is their crotch area gets fatty. And so then you lose 1 inch to 2 inches of the scrotum into their body because of all the fat. Yeah. And sometimes men can't even look down and see it. You're too big if you can't see your penis, guys. Just letting you know, if there's any men listening, if you can't see your penis when you're standing up and you look down, you got to lose something. Your belly fat, and hopefully gain your penis back once you lose the belly fat.
Yeah, let's go by. Simple. You're in a shower, if you cannot see your toe, it's time to do something. You got to be able to see your big toes.
We talk a lot in society about mental health and physical health and financial well-being, but we never talk about sexual health, and it is so important.
I think that's number one in marriage.
In marriage and relationships, it matters.
Or everything. I think things in the bedroom, people don't talk about it, but it's definitely number one issue, and it's a very important key to your happy life and healthy life.
Happy wife, happy life. That is so true.
And healthy life.
Yes. I think that's so important. I don't know about you, but for me, sex is extremely important now, probably more so than ever. And my hormones are just like, hello. And so for me, I want more sex, but I want sex with a fun partner. And the dick size is one of the most important things.
How about the thing? Even my dick is small, but I have a technique.
I haven't found those yet, but I haven't been with a lot. So
you're the single one, so
I'm the single one. So I'll let you know how it goes, ladies. This is, I'll have to sacrifice myself to the men.
You got to keep testing it, and you got to figure it out and be creative. That's what they said. It's all about creations.
Yes. And another important thing is, like, there are women out there when they get divorced or they lose a spouse that want to wait for sex.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a thing. And
some women just give up.
Here's the thing, ladies. If you don't know the size of their dick by the 4th or 5th date, run.
You run. That's what I said.
Because I don't care if you just brush up against it but if they're tiny and you need something bigger, you're not going to be happy if you're waiting for marriage. And that's your choice, and that's fine. But it's going to matter.
But here's a question for you, right? After the 5th date, if you still don't see the size, you still don't. Is that the guy insecure to show you his size?
It could be.
You know what I mean?
It could be.
Or is it he insecure about his performance?
Well, here's the thing. There are men out there that want to wait as well. So it's not just the ladies that want to wait. There are men out there that want to wait.
Really?
Oh, I've been meeting several of them that want to wait until they're engaged or married.
Oh, wow.
This is not, it's not just a religious thing. Sometimes it's a spiritual thing. Sometimes they've been burned in the past. And I know one guy for sure that I talked to, he's well endowed, but he's waiting for the work because he's been divorced twice.
Right. Maybe
And he's a good in shape guy, and he's only 28. So
you haven't seen his dick yet?
no, but you can tell. And I asked him, I go, aren't you afraid you're sexually not going to be compatible? He's like, I know, I'm well endowed, is what he told me. So
that's my question to you.
Yeah. You can ask, ladies. You can ask.
You could ask, right? Does shoe size define?
No.
See?
I was shocked. Neither does hand size. And now they always say that 2 thumbs together actually is the length of a man's penis if you put them next to each other. So, like, I'd have a really short penis if I was a man. But if you put them like this, they're supposed to be the length of the penis. So I would have about a 4.5 to 5 inch penis, right?
Yeah.
You got bigger thumbs than me. So you're almost a 5-inch penis. So you're maybe a little bit more than 5. So you would have a decent length penis.
If I was a man, right?
If you were a man, you'd have a decent length penis because your thumbs are a little longer than me. But it doesn't matter because there have been men with big hands and small penises.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. I think it's a combination. So if they're tall, they could still have a small penis. If they're short, they could have a huge penis. So height doesn't matter.
No.
Thumb size doesn't matter. Shoe size doesn't matter. Weight does impact it, though. So if they're overweight, they're losing a couple inches there. So if you got a small penis guy, just get him on a diet, ladies, and get him to lose some weight so that the penis size comes back, because that will be more enjoyable for you. So it's beneficial to you as well.
Right. I just think, like, as a woman, we take care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't men do the same?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, there's a lot of men out there, they do, though. They're willing to do the same, stay healthy and healthy life, healthy sex life, healthy everything else. But the bottom line is, I think you have to test it out. Don't judge the book by the cover. What they said. So you can't define them by the hand side, the feet side. The only way, you just have to look at it. You just have to
look at it.
You just have to see it in the person.
Okay, so we're talking about penis sinus.
Some guy, though, very confident about theirs.
Yeah.
Size.
Oh, some of them are very cocky about it. They're like, I'm well endowed. Oh, here's the thing, ladies. A lot of men send dick pics, but the only ones I find that send the dick pics are above average. I'm not into seeing dick pics personally. I don't know why guys think it's a thing to send them on dating apps and stuff now. But the ones that are small just because they don't send a dick pic doesn't mean they're small. It just means they're respectful. Honestly, that's the way I look at it.
Yes.
So, but I have had some guys send me pictures of themselves in boxers and underwear. And if it's a tighter underwear, you can tell, ladies. Now, there is the whole idea of shower versus grower, right? Are they a shower, meaning are they big and then they just don't grow very much? Or are they smaller, but then they grow really big? Or are they medium?
You never know.
And they could Photoshop it too. They could expand it.
So
don't believe it.
Don't believe it with all those dick pics. No, I would, as soon as if I were single and on a dating app, anyone that send a dick pic, let's cross it out.
Yeah.
To me.
It's disrespectful, although sometimes it's kind of fun to play with. Not the dick, but via conversation. Yeah.
So you kind of like had to be out there.
Yeah. Get yourself out there and just, and here's the thing. You don't have to see the dick right away. I just think it's important to know the size.
Before you get further, right?
Before you waste a lot of time with someone that's just not going to work.
Especially at this age.
At this age. Yeah. Yeah, it's important.
It's important. I mean, at this age, it's really important to be happy.
So shower versus grower. So the one I was with was a shower and a little grower. He didn't grow huge, but I've seen some that are really small and then they get really big. That tends to be younger people, though, I will say. I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for the older men out there. So stick with what you have, but you're younger, you have more chances.
Yeah. Now we've been talking a lot about length, but let's talk about girth. Okay. So the width of the penis. So length is one thing. So it depends on kind of what you're looking for. 6 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches. I have seen a foot long, ladies, and that's a scary thing. And when they're that big, they're also wide. So as far as girth goes, let's talk about that for a little bit. So like if you put your finger and your thumb and your pointer finger together, that's probably above average.
That's so true.
So that's
It depends on what size your finger, too.
yeah. And then do you want it where you can't touch your finger and your thumb? Or do you want it smaller than that? And that's going to be a personal choice too. So here's the average. So we were talking about length before, and the ultimate average is 5.6 inches, which is also 14.2 centimeters for those of you that like metric.
Is that really?
That's the length. Okay. But the width, okay, of a flaccid penis is 3.6 inches around or 9.3 centimeters. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know when...
It's good to know your anatomy.
Okay, and here's the erect penis girth. It's 4.59 inches. So that's about your finger.
Maybe this much.
It's about your finger and your thumb touching. No, it's about, where they almost touch. So that's a decent girth, I think. What do you think?
That's a $50 size.
Yeah, it's about $50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad at all. I like this.
I know. So, that matters too. So if you have an 8-inch or a 9-inch penis size, guys, you're a lucky lady. But here's the thing. The positions are going to matter too, because they're not going to fit in all the different positions, right? Let's talk about that. Because if a guy's too small, believe it or not, doing it sideways, and I'm just going to go sideways, if they're too small, it doesn't usually work. Or if you're packing in the backside, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Because they're too small.
No.
But if they're super long and you're packing in the backside or you're laying sideways, it works.
Yeah, that is true.
Because if they're too short, they slip out. Just saying.
Right. But I think to me, if you find a position that you like and you find a size that you like, you should keep it.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's more things, of course, than dick size, but dick size does matter. And if you find a guy that you really like and you don't know how much you're really going to give up, because sex life is just as important as health and finances and appearance and everything else. And there may be a guy that's short that you think, oh, he's going to have a small penis. And then he surprises you and he has this huge monstrosity. So it's, a lot of it's genetics.
I'm actually watching Sex in the City, one of the episodes.
Yeah.
The guy was so handsome and tall. And if you are a Sex in the City fan, this girl Samantha, one of the characters in there, she's all about sex and all about penis size. She took him home. He's so tall and handsome, and he was short, chunky dick. She was so livid.
Yeah.
He's like, this ain't gonna work. And she's the one who do all the work by herself. And she said it's way too exhausting for her.
Yeah.
You see? So you have to keep it in mind which one that you have to do the work and which one you have to do. I mean, we all have to do the work, but you have to compromise each other.
Yeah. I agree. I think the penis size, girth wise, is important. I think the length is important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So what about ball sack?
Really careful ball sacks.
So ball sacks, I think, decrease as they get older too with the testosterone, and they're less fertile too.
Yeah, I'm older now, and the ball sack is like, just remember, if you get older, the sack get longer.
Yeah.
It's just like our chin. When you get older, the sacks get longer. But there is some men though. There's the plastic surgeon out there that actually lift up their ball sack.
Yeah.
That's a procedure to do it. But yeah, I don't think I want to see the sacking ball sack. Do you?
Here's the other idea is I know about 10% of women are actually into anal. So it's a very small percentage of women that actually like anal. But if the guy's big, you're not doing anal. If the guy's small, maybe they like to do anal because they're so small.
Was he safe though? Was it safe to do anal? It's all...
I don't know. I've never tried it. So, but there are women out there and there's men out there. And I have been on Talk to Men, and some men want to do it. But I will tell you, every man that's wanted to do anal, I have never done it, but every man has been really small.
That's why they.
That's why they want to do anal.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I'm not a big person down there, not to be too personal on the podcast, but for someone to do anal, it's because they're small. I think.
I think
because
so.
I don't know
they
any.
want to feel the tighten. Yeah, no.
And
I think it just goes to anal.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole process involved. Some men are into anal, some men aren't. But I don't know. Well, that's a whole nother conversation too. But if the guy is too large, anal's just not going to work for most people. I mean, there are some women that have done it enough that, yeah. So we've got girth, we've got length, and anal. So let's talk about the look of the penis again. So some of them are bigger at the bottom and thinner at the top. Some of them are thick all the way through. Some of them are actually thick at the top and smaller at the bottom. And I always worry we're going to break them off. But
some of them don't believe in circumcision.
Some of them are uncircumcised, but that's not size.
Yeah.
That is true.
Of the look of the peanuts.
Yeah, that's the whole circumcised issue, ladies. We'll have a whole podcast on that one. Just talking about circumcision, because circumcision is such an important point too. I prefer them circumcised, but I don't know if everyone does. And some people like it that way. And supposedly it's supposed to be more sensitive for the guy, but it's also, it can cause infections and stuff. So
that's a whole new. We'll talk about the next.
That's a whole nother thing. So basically, what we're looking at is 5.5 inches long,
about $1 size,
about 4.7 inches around. That when they're hard,
yes,
and it can be an enjoyable thing. It's.
But if that side, the sex ball, it's always going to be fit, right? No, the sex of the ball.
The ball sack?
Yeah, the ball sack. I don't know. You seen one, like I said,
I like to, play with those. So, I don't know many women that find a man's penis attractive when they look at it, no matter what size it is. But I like to play with the ball sack a little bit. It's kind of fun. But as far as penis goes,
it had to be pretty looking and clean up nice.
It does have to be clean, ladies.
It has.
Oh,
God.
Oh, my God.
That has to be cleaned up nicely.
And if you're listening to this, you better freaking shower that thing and wash it 3 different ways, because it needs,
it needs to be clean.
If you actually want oral sex ever, it better not be stinky. Just like a woman has to take care of her private parts down there and not be stinky, and a man does too.
The hair, none of that stuff.
Yeah, we never did talk about the hair.
Talk about that. No, it has to be look pretty and clean.
So women are definitely.
We take care of ourselves.
We're waxing more. Some do a landing strip still. Most people are, I think most people now are going Brazilian. But I will say that I do not like choking on hair.
It's gross. Just like you go to the restaurant. You see hair in your plate, you send it back, right?
We hope it's not from down there.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, for me, I don't like to choke on hair, so that's a whole nother thing. Oh, let's talk about size and oral sex. So if they're too big, it's not so comfortable having oral sex with a man, right? So
it will choke you.
It will choke you. And if they're too short, you don't have to worry about being choked anymore. So maybe there are people that like that too.
No, if they're too short, it will your lip was shrinking, just like people smoking, try to squeeze it in. You don't want that lie on your lips.
No, you're not going to get wrinkles from a small penis. You're not sucking on them that much, I hope. Oh my God.
You never know.
That's a full-time job then.
This is talking about like the whole general thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If your partner size too small, the oral sex, you really have to squeeze your lip, and that. Look at you, look like I create the lines.
I'm pursing my lips together right now, thinking about it, and I'm like, no, my mouth is not that big. It's okay. I think that part's okay. I think that's okay. But yeah, at least you don't have to choke. But there's ways to not choke too. We have a whole oral sex conversation, but size matters too when they go in your mouth.
Yeah.
So, and there are people, here's the other thing. There are people that want to wait till marriage or wait till later to have sex. But
no,
some of them will have oral sex.
That's what I'm saying. So it means sex mean They want to wait till they marry to
have
till
intercourse.
commitment, to have intercourse.
Mhm.
That's right. That's a better word. But I just think
I think
just
Bill Clinton kind of screwed that one
that
up.
one up.
What is sex? What is
that? I mean, is that the Cuban cigars, or is that Argentinian cigars, or the Russian cigars?
Does oral sex count? Well, I don't know. It depends on the person. Some people say oral sex is sex, and some people say what is. Or what?
That's what I'm saying. So some people just think without the intercourse, it's not a sex.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, if you do oral sex, you're having sex.
Mm-hmm.
If you're touching, you're having sex. If anything,
I don't believe that.
No, if anything could get you off, that means you're having sex.
Oh, so you're saying touching is having sex too?
Because if anything could get you off, you are having sex, ladies. Even regardless, you're gonna pretend yourself like you're a virgin, angel, whatever, without intercourses. But if anything that could make you get off, you are having sex.
Okay. So for me, intercourse is a different kind of sex. But nonetheless, if you're having oral sex or even giving somebody a hand job, you can actually get the size pretty figured out from that.
Yeah.
So if you don't have to have intercourse if you don't want to figure out the size. So that's something too.
Yeah.
So what do you think about comparing different men's penis sizes? Now, I know, ladies, there's more to love and there's more to relationships and penis size, but it is still important. Have you ever compared like different guys' penises?
You know what they will say that guys' penises, you are always going to compare if you have multiple.
Mm-hmm.
That's just human nature, right?
Yeah.
If you have multiple sex partner,
Mm-hmm.
you're all going to compare the sizes. That's why there's an old say, when you go black, you don't go back. There's another thing, but that's a lie, by the way, ladies. So
yeah, because there's some black men that aren't so big too.
Right.
It's here's the thing. There's Indian men that are from India that are huge.
Right.
And but the reality is that they tend to trend smaller, but that's not necessarily true. I'm picking on the people from India, but I mean, even in Central American countries, depending on the country, they trend a certain way because of hereditary, but it depends on the individual. So you can't stereotype this, because the reality is that you never know.
You never know. It could be like from their gene. You don't know their grandparent mixed with Mediterranean.
It could be they had extra testosterone when they were developing.
Right.
Right? I mean, I don't know exactly how the penis size comes about, but yeah.
You have to, I just think you cannot be, just like I said, you cannot judge the book by the cover.
Yeah.
You have to see it. Doesn't matter what race, what side they are. But to me, the infection that come with how you look first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go down to what the sizes. But those are combinations.
So it's like you have to sample merchandise.
You have to try it on just like the shoes.
Yeah.
You got to open the box. You got to be truthful. Another thing is you have to be truthful to yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be truthful to yourself. And ladies, do not settle for less. You're worth more than that.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And some women, I think penis size is important. But for me, I'm still very sexually active, or at least I want to be. And for me, for the next 15, 20 years, I want to still have some fun. Mama wants to get her groove on. For me, sex is going to be huge. So penis size is going to matter for me.
You are, yeah. I can't say for much because I'm married. I've been seeing the same thing for the 25 years. But I think whatever that makes you happy, let's talk about, because now you're 52, I'm 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you already accomplished. You already have a kid. You already have a house, nice career, hopefully, So sex, that's what it comes down to.
Yes.
You have to be able to enjoy that.
Yes. And a lot of people our age also, they're empty nesters.
You're right.
So their kids are gone. So you're not looking for a man to be a good father, although it is always good to have a man that's a good male role model, or a good man. Always get a good man first. Don't, dick size. If they have a huge, perfect size dick and they're bad to you, you got to dump them anyway. Sometimes size matters, but sometimes it's worse if they have a bad personality.
That's what it comes down to. You want to have young, healthy sex life for at least till you...
At least I'm thinking 6. How many more years do you think you got?
I think I have at least another 20 years. That's why I want to be.
Okay, so I need to find somebody that's going to be good sexually with a decent penis size for the next 30 years.
That's what I'm saying. So for you, it will be 30 years. Look at Dr. Ruth. She's happy till she's 90.
Yes. And there are people in, nursing homes getting sexually transmitted diseases from each other.
So yeah, they are. They are. They are.
So they're still having sex.
They're still having sex. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of sex, but they still wanted it to. This is the time. So people think like you're 50, you're 60, you're ending of your life. No, this is the time that you are blooming because all the responsibility, all of those you accomplish. Like I said, you kid up to college. This is time for you.
Yeah.
You need to be bloom.
So this is just another checklist on a list of things that you want on this is your want list. So this is I want a guy that's tall. I want a guy that's got dark hair. I want a guy with a decent penis size.
Yeah. So same goes with men too. It's like the men at this age, they already accomplished. So the only thing you have is just you between you and your partner and your sex life.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be happy. This is your time to bloom. That's it.
So let's talk about the races. So the races don't really matter. We just said because everybody's a little individual.
Yeah.
I will say though that black men tend to trend a little larger than what from the few I have seen. They tend to trend a little larger. Although there was a Swedish man that I got a penis from. I don't know if it was Photoshop, but that man was huge too. So I just don't even know anymore.
You just have to put yourself out there. You got to test.
You got to test it. You got to feel it out.
You gotta feel it. You gotta test it. Do not be afraid. Just make sure. If you see a fashionist, then go for it. No time to waste. Not at this age.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many things that are important as far as dick size goes too. Now, if you don't want to feel them out, there is another way.
How?
So if they do have condoms in their nightstand,
you
can always check the size. So if they're a Magnum or a Super Magnum, I don't know if that exists, but you would know that.
That's so true.
You should know their size.
You should know. That is true.
Unless they're not fitting themselves correctly, which is a bad thing too. But
do you know that's the most famous job testing condoms?
Is it for different dick sizes?
Yes.
Now, some of these, the thing is some of these testing companies don't actually test the men. They let the men measure themselves. Which, here's the other problem, ladies. Sometimes men measure from the below the penis where the scrotum is, where they can feel the beginning of the penis all the way up to the tip. And that's not right. Women look at penis size from wherever it protrudes from the hip out. Yeah. So if a man's telling you 6 inches and then you see it, it looks like it's 4. It's because if he's being honest and he's like, I measured it. Well, it's probably because he measured below the penis in the scrotum area out.
Yeah.
And that happens too.
I see your point. Yeah.
So it does matter. And so that's the other problem with some of these penis statistics.
I need to go home to check it out. I never thought of that.
I think you should go measure your husband tonight.
Yeah.
Say, honey, this is for research.
This is research for my podcast.
This is research. We have to know.
We got to do this.
This is responsibility.
I'm telling you. This sounds to be a big job.
Mm-hmm.
All these sizes, how you're going to fulfill your needs. Size does matter.
And it's long-term, too. It's a long-term fulfilling needs. Because here's the thing, ladies. If you marry someone in your 20s and they're small and they're not fulfilling you then, just realize as time goes on, it's going to get smaller. And now this is not to kill all the men with small penises. There are women out there that like them very small. So realize that, too. But over time, they just get smaller. And you're going to have to realize it's not going to be the same as when you got married.
You have to be prepared.
You have to be prepared because and the more they use it, I think it helps with size.
It's just like exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If they don't use it, you lose your muscle.
Well, they lose their muscle. And as they get older, they need Viagra.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they have to take care of themselves.
They have to take care. And here's the thing, too. If you go younger, they're going to be larger and less likely to need Viagra.
Yeah, but then if you look at that's what a lot of women. Look at Cher. Her boyfriend's only 25.
I think he's older than that now. But yeah, and Madonna went way younger too.
Yeah.
And you got to say, Method to the madness.
That's what I'm saying. So that's, like I said, at the end of the day, at this age, it's pretty much that's all you need. Look at Kris Jenner, the Kardashian. She said herself, she don't need any more money. She just needs somebody to please her in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And look at her boyfriend. He is a lot way younger than her.
Yeah. Well, then they can keep up too.
Right. You know.
Yeah, because the motion of the ocean does matter, not just the size. We will go back to that. The motion of the ocean does matter too, because if a guy has a really big penis and he doesn't know how to use it, it doesn't matter.
That's go hand in hand though. The techniques and the size.
Yeah. And if he's super small and he can use the heck out of it, that might help as well if you're dealing with somebody that's a little bit smaller.
They also need to keep up with the energy too.
Yes, the energy is definitely important.
You don't want no like 1 minute man, 2 minute man.
Yeah, so comment, ladies, on our podcast what size your man is. We'll do our own little research study and let us know what the length is and what the girth is. I don't care if it's in inches or centimeters. It would be great to know what but make sure you tell us if it's in inches and centimeters.
Yes.
Tell us what size your man is and how
would you prefer?
And how would you prefer? And
remember, this is just a friendly conversation between
it is, but
divas.
Here's the thing. If your man checks your podcast or your comments, you may not want to publish that. So go under a pseudonym if you want to. But yeah, you can say whether or not they're too big or they're too small, because there's women out there that are with men that are just too big. And here's the thing, ladies, as we get older, we get a little smaller down there too. So we can. And it can tighten up. So you may get smaller, you may get bigger. It depends on the woman again.
And it depends how much you use it.
And your hormones. So
hormones play a big part.
Hormones is big, and that's a whole nother podcast too.
Yeah.
But the reality is the guys, if they're not on testosterone, they're going to start shrinking because their testosterone is going to start dropping off after 40, 45.
And they're not going to want it. They're going to lose the interest. Oh.
Yeah, let me tell you what age the men's testosterone drops off. I've got that here. Yeah, if they start losing interest, then you're going to be like, so in their mid-30s. Men's testosterone starts to decrease in their mid-30s and greatly decreases by their late 40s. So probably by the time they're 50-something, you know what their dick size is going to be unless they're just not using it. Weightlifting will help, but they may also have to go on some, they have to replacement testosterone. So
they have to exercise. Those are body parts. They have to exercise.
I will say that. A man that's in shape tends to be, its sex is way better. Oh, and I'm talking cardio. A lot of men stay away from cardio thinking they can just lift weights. If they're not doing cardio, their penis size shrinks and gets softer. I'm telling you, it doesn't last as long. The hard-on is not as good.
No.
And
don't forget cardio. That's all.
Cardio is important to make sure they maintain the penis size.
Mm-hmm.
And the testosterone is important with weightlifting. So you're going to generate testosterone, right? So weightlifting is important too, so that they can keep the size. So it's both.
Nutrition is very important.
Lots of protein.
Mm-hmm.
And I think men let themselves go worse than women these days.
I think so too. That I agree. And a lot of women okay, we have this. A lot of men complain like, "Oh, you're married because you have your wife take care of you." No, you could take care of yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well,
at the end of the day, you
seeing all these men with these big old pot bellies, I'm thinking, going, you guys just lost 2 inches.
Yeah, and you just lost 2 inches, and you just lost interest of take care of yourself. And I think once you lost your interest, you might lose interest in having sex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you have to keep up with things and
keep up. Keep it up.
Yeah, keep it up and keep it. The maintenance program is very important, just like a car.
Yeah,
I totally agree. The maintenance, we need all maintenance.
So as far as, let's say you're with a man and he's got a small penis, and you want to stay with the man because you love him completely, or whatever it is. There are alternatives. There are penis extenders out there you can buy. There are vibrator cock rings that can help you with sex. I don't know if ladies know this. There are toys out there. I can actually post those later too. There are toys out there that will help with sex with a small penis man. There's I even saw one the other day that's a vibrator with a penis extender and a girth extender. So it actually makes it thicker as well.
See?
And it's more, actually, ladies are like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have a vibrator cock ring penis extender on my, whoever. Here's the thing. It makes it more pleasurable for them too.
For them too, and for
them
us,
too.
Yeah.
So it's, if you're having, or, you're not having orgasms from internal sex, because I know most women need an external stimulation first, or to get off completely externally before they have sex.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not having orgasm, the penis extender, cock ring vibrator may be the way to go. And if you put the vibrator in the right spot, if you know what I mean, that helps too. So if you find a man that doesn't want to go on testosterone, that doesn't want to, lose the weight, you lost a couple inches, there are alternatives
yes,
to keep the man even with the smaller penis. So I did need to bring that up.
You're right. You have to. So if you're happily married, right? If you're happily with this man, regardless what size he is, there is help out there.
There is help. We live in a wonderful time when you can buy everything on Amazon.
On Amazon. And everything is out open. But anyway, Amazon has everything you need.
Yes, Amazon has it. You can also go to a sex store, ladies, and just check things out differently. There's a lot of, it used to be they were always in shady neighborhoods and dark windows. Now it's actually kind of fun. I think 50 Shades of Grey kind of reopened the door to that too.
Yeah, it is. And then after that movie, I have to say, after that movie, there's so many stores that just pop up open.
So I think that the sex stores are an alternative if you are dealing with a man with a small penis, but he's the one. Because I do realize, ladies, penis size is not everything. Even if it's not a good fit, like that we were talking about the shoes earlier, at least you can find the guy with the right everything else, and then supplement. But make sure he's willing to supplement. Don't force it. Just have the discussion, have a conversation. Say, look, I'd like to try this. Now, here's the other thing. Telling a man he has a small penis is a really tough thing to do. Now, it kind of depends on where you're at in your relationship, don't you think?
Yes, it could be very, very sensitive subject.
Because men are now you can't do it in front of anyone.
Right. That's a bedroom talk.
That's bedroom talk. Not in front of the kids, private.
Close the door, and you have to think all your bases covered before you bring that up, because they're like super sensitive.
You might want to bring up the size thing and say, look, let's try something new. And just buy the toy and have the toy and say, hey, let's have some fun. Right. And maybe not even talk about the penis size, because that's so sensitive for man.
I think so too. And that's another thing is, you never know, he may feel the same way. You know what I mean?
He might, but be sensitive. Don't create a fight over this.
Right. You just have to have an open conversation.
Yeah, do it in a loving way.
Yes.
That way you say, hey, let's have some new fun. I got something that we could try out, and buy what you think would work. And if one of them doesn't work, try something else. There is alternatives, and there is so many out there. There are.
But remember, it's a sensitive subject.
Yeah, so
that's all it is.
Comment, ladies, as well, if you've had any toys that worked really well for you that you want us to kind of feature or talk about. I might try them out. Oh, you could try them out too?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? It's research.
This is the research. This is like trial run. So, hey, whatever that you have on your, let's bring it on. And
it's kind of like vibrators and dildos and things like that. They come in all different shapes and sizes, and some women like them smaller, and some women like them bigger.
Yeah, that's true. Some of them even had two heads.
Yeah, and women also, we tend to get drier if we're not on hormone therapy as we get older. There's lubricants and stuff.
I use it.
There's lubricant, and hormones help with that too. Yeah. And there's like an O shot out there we can talk about later, but it's not such a big deal if they're smaller when they get older. But the thing is that you got to make sure that you're happy.
You're happy. That's the bottom line. You have to be happy.
Yeah, the sex life has to be integral to your overall health. It has to be integral to your mental health. It has to be integral to your physical health. It's part of it all. If the shoe doesn't fit, you're not going to be wearing it very long, is all my thought process is, because it will get miserable. It'll get mundane. In every relationship, it gets mundane unless you keep it feisty.
You have to. You have to keep it feisty and you have to keep it openly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to let your partner know this is not your fulfilling. If your partner willing to work it out with you, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And there is, like I said, there is some stuff could help you.
Yeah. But just be careful with the penis discussion. You don't want to emasculate a man either. That is part of their manhood. So, and some men just, they rolled the dice and they didn't win. So, and some men over won. And that might be a problem too.
Some men will be openly to accept it. Some men don't.
Some men don't. And I know we talked a lot about too small, but let's go now into more kind of the too big.
Too big.
So there is a thing as too big. And if it hurts when you're having sex every time,
it's not
that's
a pleasure.
Not fun. No. And some women are just deeper. And some women can just take a wider penis, and some women can't.
Yeah, some women cannot take it. Like I cannot take it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have pleasure to it.
Well, and
I don't know about you.
I dated a guy that was, well, I didn't have sex with him, but he was very, very well endowed. And he's like, well, we'll just, we'll do longer foreplay and we'll just use extra lube. And I'm like, that's no fun. I don't want to be ripped in half is what I told him. I said, it's just too much. And you have to realize that large can be a huge problem.
Not always good.
I will say though, they tend to be, from what I've seen, is above average to average is what I've seen mostly.
Mm-hmm.
So that is kind of normal.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be careful with them big.
You have to be careful with them big too. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Have you ever had a really big one?
I know. I got scared.
You got scared?
The way it looked, I don't do it.
Yeah.
I look at first before I decide, okay, I'm going to do this. I had to look at it. I don't do just like to touch the stuff. No. I had to look at it first. Yeah, no. It had to be a fit. I'm very skippy about that. No.
I think I would go a little larger. But I prefer average to above average, just so I'm not in pain all the time. So all the average and the median people out there, right in the middle of the block.
Yeah, and then you don't want to have sex and then you'll be in pain for the next 3 days to heal yourself. You don't want that, don't you?
Yeah, well, maybe.
It's like,
depends.
You'll be walking funny.
If it was like 15 minutes of sex, then no. But if it was like a whole day, thing, I'm okay with that.
You tell me. Okay, here's gonna be your homework. You're gonna go out there explore because you're the single one.
Oh, I don't explore like that. I still like to connect with people before I don't.
You need to feel perfection.
I don't have one night stands. I'm too old for that. I'll let you know. I'll find a penis over the next few weeks, maybe, and let you know.
Let me know.
Yeah.
I'm dying to know. Can you tell me?
I'll have to report back.
We have to do another session, like sex life when you're like longer married.
Yes. Well, and here's the thing. The thing is you have the same penis
for the past 25 years. Yeah.
So the size really mattered.
Yes, you have to. Yes.
It really mattered. So it was very important that you found a one.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people wait till marriage again, but I'm so confused by that because the sex life does matter. Yeah. It does. It's crucial.
You have to be happy in the bedroom before anything else.
Can you imagine?
You could not be.
If I was waiting to get married or to have sex before I got married, and then I get married. And now I have to give him half my stuff. And I have to go through a divorce process because it's just terrible sex. I just can't imagine.
Yeah. It'd be so disappointing.
It would be so and it's at our age because you've already established, you have stuff. No. If you're waiting till marriage, even with a prenup, it's still going to cost lawyer fees and expenses. And, successful women don't want to have to deal with that.
No, you don't. Not at this age.
Not at this age. Especially when it could have been mitigated.
Right.
By at least sampling a few times. Now, here's the other thing. The penis size matters, but the first time you have sex, no matter what size is, it may not be perfect.
It may not be perfect.
It's okay.
Yeah. You have to do the couple tests.
You have to do it 5, 10, 1,500 times.
100 times. You have to. I'm all for it. I'm all about like test drive, I don't believe in like you wait till you're married to have. No, I don't believe in those.
Yeah, but you don't have to be out there sleeping around with everybody.
That's another thing too. You have to be affectionate. Like I never really date. Next thing you know, it's a boyfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. You could be making out with a guy and your hand could just go down and feel if they're excited. If they're not and you're making out with them, that's a bad sign
Bad
too.
sign, yes.
But if they are excited, you should be able to feel it and see
yeah.
how big.
Yeah. Some men would just talk to you and you talk to them and you already get a groove on already. You'll be able to see.
You'll be able to know.
You'll be able to know.
And there are men you can just tell from the pants they wear. Those are the showers, not the growers. The growers grow later, but the showers you can tell from just like if they're in sweatpants or boxers, you can tell.
But how about like you have so much chemistry, right? You're gonna go out with the chemistry was so strong, and then the peanut size not there. Then
well, if this is the one and you know it's the one, again, I go back to the idea of saying, let's get some things to mitigate it. You can help them with the testosterone potentially. Now, we're not doctors. We're not giving doctor advice. They'd have to talk to their own doctor.
Right.
But they can go talk to a hormone doctor. They can look on Amazon.
Yes.
And get the different types of extenders or
it's so many resources out there.
Yeah. But sex matters.
Oh, yeah.
Vibrators aren't enough. So dick size does matter. I mean,
that's when it comes down to.
It does.
It does matters.
It does. If you're going to have a fun sex life. Now, when they're too long, they'll hit the top of your cervix, ladies. That's painful.
I just had a goosebump when you just
Have you ever had that?
No.
Oh, gosh, I have. Yeah. And then it's painful. So then we get back to the positional thing. And there's positions that will make it so they don't go so far in. Mm-hmm. So if they're bigger, again, we're talking about the bigger ones, ladies, not the smaller ones. But if they're bigger, then they won't go as far in. Mm-hmm. There's different types of positions. There's you being on top so that you don't let them hit the top. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have that conversation too. So if they're too big, you need to work that out.
Yeah. It's all about conversation.
It's all about being honest and open. And I think at our age, I think people are more willing to talk about stuff like that.
I think so. At this age, there's nothing to hide. You've done it all. You know what I mean? Whatever that's going to get you happy, I don't think you should hold back.
And what about the Asian culture? Do they talk about it amongst themselves?
They talk about that. No, they don't. I don't think so. And the men had talk about ego.
Yeah.
The Asian men have the ego.
You know, here's the funny thing, too. I think at my age, women didn't, when I was younger, we didn't talk to men about their dick sizes. Now, it's come up in casual conversation with the guys.
Yeah.
So I'm more willing to even talk to the guys about their penis sizes, too.
Yeah. Like I said, we are half of century in. You are not. Mm-hmm. Whatever question you have to. But you just have to be careful to, the way you bring it up, not offend the other side.
Yep. I agree. I think that we definitely need to be more open and honest in our communication with people, whether it's dick sizes, whether it's oral sex, whether it's positional, and just have fun in the bedroom.
Have fun in the bedroom and have fun. Talk about it first.
Oh,
you can talk about it. That's going to start. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And after that, question come up, and then once you laid it all out, I think you're going to have really, really had a good time in the bedroom.
Laid it all out.
Yes. Once you laid it all out, you're going to have a real good time in the bedroom.
Yes. And remember, so if they're too big, there's positions you can adjust to that make it. There's a Kama Sutra book out there you can always look at too. But there's positions in the bedroom you can adjust to make them not as deep, not have them not go as deep. Yeah.
Yes.
And then if they're too small, there's also better positions. Missionary is one of them. I mean, if they're smaller, missionary is a great position.
Yeah, it's true.
So if they're smaller. Now, you can't do much about girth. So the only thing you can do with girth is get the extender or the penis enhancer. And again, you can buy those at sex stores and on Amazon and other different sex websites. The enhancers and the vibrators and the cock rings, all those things will add to the fun. If they're too small. So we're not saying go get a divorce. That's definitely not what we're saying. But if you haven't married someone yet, it might be important for you to know ahead of time. And if it doesn't matter to you, maybe you're in your 30s and you're not, you're all focused on work and sex is important, but it's not that important. Here's the thing. It gets more and more important, I think, as you get older, too. When things calm down, you're not taking care of the kids, you're not exhausted all the time.
You have time at this age.
You have time. Your hormones kind of like, after menopause, your hormones go, oh, I need more sex. So the reality is we get more horny as we get older, and
Definitely,
the
but you know
men
what,
get
though?
less.
Man.
Yeah, the men get
And the
less.
men get less and they're losing it. So
Yeah.
I think it's up to the ladies to be creative.
It is up to the ladies to add to the creativity in the
That's
bedroom
what I'm saying.
and to
Yes,
make
sir.
sure you find, happiness and joy.
You have to.
Yeah. And if you've been married or you want, if this is the one, there's ways to work around it, is basically what we're saying. Unless they're just too huge. I think too small is actually better than too huge, because too small, you can add too huge. What do you do with that? You're squinting.
I'm stopped there.
You got your nose all squinted up. You're like, oh, it's so painful. I think your face has got pain in it already.
I don't know.
I mean, I think over time you would adjust
You can
and
use it
stretch out.
somehow.
The only problem I'm worried about, let's say that you're with a man and they're very large and you date them for a while and then you break up.
What you do? And then you never know. Oh, yeah.
And then you only want the supersized men. So, all the little men are like, oh, you've been knocking us. But what about the men that are big? Because after you break up with a guy that big, how do you find another guy that big?
He's going to scar you for long.
I don't know about scar, but he's definitely going to impact
A lot.
Yeah, you have to worry
You
about
have to
those
worry
types of
about
things.
those types of things. But there's a thing, remember, ladies, we don't talk about divorce. If you happily married, work it out.
Work it out. Find a way.
Find a way.
Hopefully you're happily married
Yes.
and you have good communication so you can talk
Communications-
about the size.
Communication is the key.
Yes. So let's wrap it up. Anything else? Feel free to leave us a comment, send us a message, and we will respond. I'm Mia.
This is Diva Cat.
Diva Mia and Diva Cat signing off. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We love hearing from you. Visit thedivadetails.com to connect. See you next week for more.
Diva Details podcast and website are intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. The content provided does not constitute professional, medical, financial, or legal advice. We are not licensed medical practitioners, financial advisors, or legal professionals. Always consult with a qualified healthcare provider for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Any financial topics discussed are based on personal opinions and experience and should not be considered professional advice. The content provided does not constitute legal advice. Diva Details and its affiliate contributors and guests are not liable for any losses or damages arising from the use of our content. The opinions expressed in the podcast are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated organization, sponsors, or partner. All facts discussed in the podcast are researched and accurate to the best of our knowledge at the time of recording. Information may change over time. No guarantees are made regarding the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements or opinions presented. It is the responsibility of the listener to verify any and all facts that may influence their decision. This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice.